we're looking at what turned out to be a preview of the Premier Grand Final between Uni Blues and St Kevin's, and we're looking at the second boundary throw-in of the match, which should have resulted in a free kick to St Kevin's. So you'll see Tom Quinn, who's the tagger, who instigates some contact with Mitch Brown. Now, Brown tries to get away to get to the contest, and it's clearly held. You'll see Nick Wood, St Kevin's captain, come in as a block here to assist, but should have been a free kick in the first place to Mitch Brown. We're looking at some contact below the knees, free kicks. Sam Critchley dives in. Tom Young has to take evasive action. Correct free kick paid. This one wasn't paid. Should have been paid. Clear free kick. Blues player knocked off his feet. This has to be a free kick.
Good boy.
No prior attempts to kick, so that's play on, no problem there. Mike taken, no 50, which is fine. St Kevin's teammate comes in to fly the flag because he's come in to interfere at the mark. Campbell correctly resets the mark. Fair to Blues. We're looking at a contact below the knees free that gets paid, which shouldn't be a free kick. So the Blues player is entitled to go to ground to pick up the ball. St Kevin's player comes over the top. This is not a free kick. Play goes to ground, dives on the ball. We need to wait, not just call for the ball up so soon. We're looking at a couple of really good examples of work rate here from Campbell. Blues in the clear and he's off. Now in this snippet, he works really hard to get down to the goal line. Now it's hard to tell with the camera angle if this is a deliberate rush behind or not, how close the St Kevin's player was to the line, we can't tell. But the positive was that Campbell worked hard to get down there, so he had a good view of it. Adjudged that a deliberate rush behind because the player took the ball over the behind line. The mark is taken from where the ball crossed the line. And in this instant, the player has to kick on the angle. We see the other umpire come down as an assistant. And play on correctly gets called as soon as the player comes around. Keep your eyes on number 11 of St Kevin's as the ball up gets called for. There's some unnecessary contact on him, so there it is. There's the free kick, good free kick. Now the commotion happens. Now this is a 3-umpire game. The only problem with the teamwork here is that the umpire who's at the end zone where the play is coming to comes in to sort it out, which means when the play goes down there, there's no one there. Free kick paid, good free kick, marking contest, front on contact or block. Correct free kick to St Kevin's. In the next act of play, one could probably argue that this should be a 50. Effectively, you've probably got two St Kevin's players on the mark. Now, if ball goes out of bounds, keep your eyes on number 7 of Blues, Jeremy Motherman. Just gets taken out. This is a 3-umpire game. Not one umpire saw it. That has to be a free kick.
Josh Green.
We get a downfield free kick paid, which is clearly not a downfield free kick. So now it's a question of if the ball bounced before it went through, where will the free kick be taken? If it went through on the full, the player will get the choice of the score or another kick. Now it's hard to tell exactly from the vision where that ball bounced, but the other umpire, the end zone's chosen to take it straight in front. You'll see there clearly not a free kick. On my call, this 2 heads are better than 1. You notice both umpires pay the free kick. You'd rather that than no one pay the free kick. Now, it's a tap out in this instance. As long as there's good communication between the two umpires and eye contact, they can sort out who's who. Now, this is a 3-umpire game. Because the ball's gone out of bounds, right in the middle, you'll notice a little signal from Tom there to the other end zone, so that just indicates who's going which side. Good teamwork. Listen for what Tom calls. Touched, yours touched. So it's important that we call the touched first, as the players are much more important than the umpires. Delivered out of bounds, free kicks coming up. Head straight for the line, forceful, no teammates in the vicinity. Easy free kick, set kick control is poor here. Player must start outside the boundary line with the free kick. No intention to keep it in, head straight for the line. Correct free kick. In this instance, the player does start over the boundary line, and you'll notice that play on gets called as soon as he steps inside. No free kick at the moment. The interpretation is that in a marking contest you can punch the ball away, so no free kick paid there. In this next one, I think this is a good non-decision. Plays kicking, it looks like it's an ungainly kick. You can't be 100% sure looking at in normal speed whether the player got hands to the ball and touched it or not. You look pretty silly if you paid it and then it came off an opposition player's hand, so no free kick paid. Okay, head scratcher of the day coming up. How anyone can tell me this is not a free kick when a player's back just gets crashed into is beyond me. Obvious free kick, someone has to pay it. I have no idea what this next passage of play is about. The ball goes out of bounds on the full. Player has to be brought back to the 9. And then you'll notice in the clip the mark gets reset. Now, I don't know why. Obviously, it was probably poor communication in the first place. The player doesn't have to start outside the boundary line. Mark gets reset. Don't know what happened. When a mark's taken in defence, we need to square up to the mark. This is a 3-umpire game. The umpire's boundary side. Mark's taken. He has to decide, do I stay there, do I come in board? As a result of being a bit indecisive, he probably ends up in a weird position at the mark. We're looking at a boundary throw in here. So the mid-zone umpire has the play, sets himself for the boundary throw in now. As the ruckman contests the ball, he needs to be going at full pace. Just too slow there, too slow to get back inside. And here's an example of VFL senior umpire Cam Watts. Have a look at the change of pace at this boundary throw, and this is what is expected. Ball up. We need to back out a lot quicker than in this example. So backing out like this means it certainly restricts our options depending on where the play goes. And you'll notice that the umpire gets caught up in the play a couple of times here because he probably didn't back out quickly enough in the first place. Okay, let's follow up from last week where we saw this count. Keep in mind that the law has changed slightly in the VAFA, but the first point is that the law in AFL does now say that the captain, vice captain or runner can call for the count at any time. Now, the interpretation is that it would only be the runner if neither the captain nor the vice captain was on the field, but it is in the law book, so technically the runner can call for a count. Both teams have to be lined up. You'll notice here that the Caulfield lineup probably isn't as organised as the Hampton Rovers one, which could be a problem, so it's incumbent on both umpires to make sure that they get this correct, regardless of which team is called for the count. Once it's determined that there's the correct number or the incorrect number, a free kick is paid from either the centre circles or from where play was at the time. And then a 50-metre penalty is imposed from either of those positions. The captain might be reported if the umpires deem that it is a frivolous count. Clubs do lose all the score that they have scored for that particular quarter as well, whichever side is the infringing side. Of course, whatever happens, it will need to be reported to the controlling body, which in our case is the VAFA.
Holding him!
Holding him!
Ready to call it!
I don't. There might be.